Hello friends, this is Leila, your nostalgic guide through the greatest stories in the world of music. Buckle up, because today we're embarking on a journey filled with talent and romance. And the star of the story? A singer who defined the 80s and 90s with the soundtrack of Love-Struck Hearts. None other than the king of soft rock, Michael Bolton. If you lived through that era or are simply a fan of heart-touching music, you have certainly been swept away by Michael's powerful voice. He didn't just sing, he delivered pure emotion, creating the soundtrack for romances, reconciliations, and unforgettable moments for couples around the globe. Michael stood out not only for his songs, he had a presence. With his charm and iconic long hair, he won over a legion of fans and solidified his image as a true romantic idol of the 90s. But Michael Bolton's journey wasn't just filled with applause and success. Behind the artist lies a fascinating story of persistence and passion for music. From his early steps performing in small venues to massive international tours, he faced challenges, reinvented himself, and never gave up on his dream of achieving success. And so he did it. So, if you've ever slow danced with someone to Michael's songs, stay with me! Today, we're diving into the story of the man behind those timeless tracks that have spanned generations. Who was Michael Bolton beyond the romantic idol of the 90s? How did he rise to the top? And what made him a legend of soft rock? Let's find out now! Michael Bolton, born Michael Bolton in 1953 in New Haven, Connecticut, grew up in a humble family. His father, George Bolton, was active in the local Democratic Party and worked at the Urban Development Agency, while his mother, Helen, was a housekeeper. During his childhood, Michael and his brother would help their father with political campaigns, delivering flyers by bicycle around the neighborhood. Although Michael experienced happy moments, his childhood also came with challenges. His parents divorced when he was very young, leaving a deep impact in his life. The loss of his father at the age of 13 was another blow he would carry for the rest of his life. Even so, George had a lasting influence on Michael, especially in sparking his interest in sports. As a tribute to his father's memory, Michael dedicated his first solo album under the stage name Michael Bolton. Helen, his mother, played an equally important role in his journey. She was the one who introduced Michael to the world of music, shaping his artistic passion and encouraging him to pursue his talents. He learned to play the saxophone at age 7, guitar at 11, and was already writing his first songs by the age of 12. His biggest influences came from artists like Stevie Wonder, Little Richard, and other legends of R&B and Motown. After his parents' divorce, music became a refuge, and Michael immersed himself even deeper into that world. A bit of a rebel, he grew out his hair inspired by the Beatles, which caused trouble for him at school. In an interview with the Schenectady Gazette in August 1983, Michael said, "I was into the Beatles and I grew long hair before the other kids. And I got in trouble in school for having long hair. They tried to brutalize me and my brother. They wouldn't let me play sports, which I really loved. I was captain of my baseball team. They tried everything to get me to cut my hair and it made me harder. And it made me angry. I didn't realize I was an angry kid." At 14, Michael formed his first band, the Nomads, which quickly gained recognition in the New Haven area. His talent caught the attention of Epic Records, and by the age of 15, he had signed his first contract. However, his deal never led to any concrete recordings. Shortly after, Michael was invited to open for the legendary Leon Russell at the Philadelphia Spectrum, performing for an audience of 9,000 people. Impressed by his performance, Leon invited him to record a few demos at his home studio in Oklahoma. This moment marked the true beginning of Michael's professional journey. Soon after, Michael signed a contract with RCA Records and released his first solo albums, Michael Bolton in 1975 and Every Day of My Life in 1976. Despite his efforts, the albums failed to achieve success, and the contract was cancelled. With his solo career on hold, Michael decided to explore new directions. In 1979, he became the lead vocalist for the band Blackjack, known for a sound similar to Foreigner and Bad Company, following the trend of radio-friendly rock at the time. The band signed with Polydor Records and released 2 albums, Blackjack 1979 and Worlds Apart 1980. Despite their musical quality, the albums failed to achieve the expected success. A small national tour and a promotional video released before the MTV era also didn't help the band gain visibility. By 1981, Blackjack split up, with its members going their separate ways. It was then that Michael decided to return to his solo career, but with a new identity, Michael Bolton. He left the Bolton surname behind and began focusing on a pop sound influenced by R&B, a genre deeply rooted in his musical background. In 1983, he signed with Columbia Records and released the album Michael Bolton, featuring the single Fool's Game, which reached 82 on the charts. Although it was a step forward, stardom still seemed out of reach. While striving to establish himself as a singer, Michael began to make a name for himself as a songwriter, gaining recognition within the music industry. Major artists started recording his songs, and the results were remarkable. Laura Branigan, for instance, reached the number 12 on the charts with How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, which became one of her biggest hits. In 1985, she recorded another of Michael's compositions, I Found Someone, which later became a top 10 hit in 1988 when performed by Cher. Michael's talent as a songwriter didn't stop there. In 1990, just weeks before he reached the number 1 on the charts with his own version of How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, the band Kiss released the ballad Forever, co-written by him. The song became one of the group's biggest hits. In addition to these major hits, Michael also wrote songs for a wide and diverse list of artists, including Joe Cocker, Starship, Rex Smith, and Kenny G. This success as a songwriter was crucial in keeping him relevant in the music industry and financing his return to the spotlight as a singer. In 1985, Michael released his second album, Everybody's Crazy, but the record was a commercial failure, except in Sweden, where it reached the top 50. The true turning point in his career came with the release of his fifth album, The Hunger, in 1987. In this work, Michael abandoned his hard rock sound and embraced the blue-eyed soul style, which showcased his powerful voice with influences of soul and pop. The album featured hits like That's What Love Is All About, and his stirring rendition of Otis Redding's Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, both reaching the top 40. In 1989, the album Soul Provider catapulted Michael to global superstardom. The record, filled with hits co-written with renowned songwriters like Diane Warren and Desmond Child, reached the top 10 in the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Norway. It produced 5 top 40 singles, including his iconic version of How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, which hit first place on the charts and earned him a Grammy for Best Pop Male Vocal Performance. Other hits from the album included How Can We Be Lovers and When I'm Back on My Feet Again. The success continued in 1991 with the album Time, Love and Tenderness, which reached the number 1 on the Billboard 200. This work delivered 4 more top 40 hits, including his unforgettable cover of Percy Sledge's When a Man Loves a Woman, which secured him another Grammy for Best Pop Male Vocal Performance. Additional highlights included the tracks Time, Love and Tenderness and Love is a Wonderful Thing, although the latter led to significant legal trouble. The Isley Brothers claimed that Love is a Wonderful Thing plagiarized their 1966 song of the same title. In 1992, the group sued Michael, his co-writer Andrew Goldmark, and Sony Music Publishing. In 1994, a jury ruled that the song plagiarized essential elements of the original version, resulting in a fine of $5.2 million, the highest penalty in a music plagiarism case at the time. After years of appeals, the decision was upheld in 2001. Michael paid $933,000, Andrew Goldmark $221,000, and Sony was responsible for $4.2 million. In 1992, Michael released Timeless, The Classics, an album of cover songs, including his rendition of To Love Somebody by the Bee Gees, which reached the top 20 and pushed the record to number 1 in the United States. The following year, he returned to original material with The One Thing, 1993, featuring the hit Said I Loved You But I Lied. This album reached the top 3 in the United States and was a major success in Australia and Norway. To celebrate his career, Michael released the compilation album Greatest Hits 1985 to 1995 in 1995, bringing together the biggest hits of his journey. In the following years, he continued to impress with new projects, such as the album All That Matters 1997, which included the track Go the Distance, part of the soundtrack for Disney's Hercules, reaching number 24 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. In 1998, he showcased his musical versatility with My Secret Passion, The Arias, an opera album that highlighted a different side of his incredible vocal talent. Throughout the 2000s, Michael released 16 more albums, including studio works and compilations. A memorable moment came in 2001, when he recorded All for Love for the soundtrack of the Brazilian soap opera The Clone, which became the theme song for the couple Jade and Lucas. The song was part of the album The Clone International, which sold 1 million copies. After a 14-year hiatus, Michael returned to the studio with Spark of Light in 2023, marking his highly anticipated comeback. Alongside his vast discography, he shared his story in his autobiography, The Soul of It All, My Music, My Life, 2013, offering fans an intimate look at his personal and professional journey. Michael Bolton is known for his powerful ballads from the 80s and 90s that defined a generation. However, his musical style and visual image of the time, including his long disheveled hair, also made him the target of criticism and cultural jokes. Rolling Stone once referred to him as one of the most hated figures in music, while Blender ranked him third on its list of the 50 worst artists in music history. Michael also became a punchline in the movie Office Space, where a character named Michael Bolton expresses disdain for sharing the same name with a singer with no talent. These remarks, however, don't seem to affect Michael. And why should they? He has sold over 70 million records, accumulated a fortune of $80 million, won 2 Grammy Awards, and earned praise from some of the biggest names in music. In 1990, for instance, Bob Dylan invited him to co-write the song Steel Bars, which was included in the album Time, Love and Tenderness. Another remarkable moment occurred in 1987, when Michael recorded a version of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Otis Redding's timeless classic. Otis's widow, Zelma, was so moved that she stated to Jet magazine, "It brought tears to my eyes. It reminded me so much of my husband that I know if he heard it, he would feel the same." In addition to his success, Michael has maintained his powerful voice, which is his signature trait. The secret, according to him, is avoiding dairy products, known to cause mucus that can harm singers. "I love pasta, pizza, and ice cream, but consuming too much dairy affects my voice," he shared in an interview with the Daily Mail in 2013. The singer also follows a healthy routine, working out 4 times a week and sticking to a vegetarian diet he has maintained for over 40 years. In his personal life, Michael had 2 significant relationships. His first marriage was to Maureen Maguire, with whom he had 3 daughters. The marriage lasted 15 years, but ended in 1990. Shortly after, he began a relationship with the actress Nicolette Sheridan, known for the series Knots Landing. The couple began dating in 1992. After Nicolette divorced the actor Harry Hamlin, their romance lasted until 1997, but they resumed their relationship in 2005 and even announced their engagement the following year. However, the relationship ended for good in 2008. Today, at 71 years old, Michael is enjoying a new chapter in his love life. He is dating the socialite Heather Kersner, a longtime friend, with whom he made his red carpet debut in February 2023 at the Music Cares Person of the Year event. "It's been very natural, like all the boxes are checked," the singer shared in an interview with People. Despite his busy and professional schedule, he is learning to balance love and work while embracing this new phase alongside Heather. Did you already know Michael Bolton's story? Has any of these great artists' songs marked an important moment in your life? Leave your comment. I'd love to read it and give it a heart. And if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video. Your support encourages us to keep bringing weekly content. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end, and see you next week.